Beep, 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 beep. Welcome to the Court Digester. How are we doing? Coffee this morning? Yeah, don't know what you're having. What we got here? Well, sticking with the subject of the police, which was something that I covered yesterday in regards to their recruiting by race, which seems surreal, but apparently is true. I've got an article here from Andrew Tettenborn in Spiked Online, who are celebrating their 25th anniversary. Andrew's a very clear thinker, and this is a very clear piece, even if it is to some degree quite terrifying to read. But let's go through it at any rate. Before I do, come and be a warrior teacher, buy me a coffee, the usual stuff. The UK's free speech crisis is about to get so much worse, is the heading of this particular article. The Crime and Policing Bill could unleash terrifying new censorship powers. The UK government's Crime and Policing Bill poses a formidable threat to free speech in the UK. The bill, which is currently at the committee stage in the House of Commons, promises to keep our streets safe by giving courts a new power to issue what are called respect orders. I hate that word, respect. Just go away. Tolerance. That's your lot. These orders are potentially so draconian and wide-ranging that they could well end up being used for very different purposes, including silencing anyone who says anything online that the authorities disapprove of. There's Meghan Murphy, who's going to run for political positions, has this morning, I understand, had her bank account frozen. This by her political opponents. This is all terribly serious, people, and it's all part of the same problem. Debanking, the sort of stuff that they do, no platforming people, all of this is very serious indeed. And it's not going to be helped by something that makes it easier for the powers that be to silence people, which is the clear point of Andrew's article. Under the bill, local authorities, police and local authorities, and a number of other bodies will be empowered to ask courts for respect orders that can either prohibit someone from doing or requiring them to do anything described in the order. Do you want to hear that again, just to make sure you've got it? Under the bill, police, local authorities and a number of other bodies will be empowered to ask courts for respect orders that can either prohibit someone from doing or require them to do anything described in the order. It's quite extraordinary. You read that right. Anything. Andrew continues. The only condition that needs to be satisfied is that the court thinks, on a balance of probabilities, that the person has caused or is likely to cause harassment, alarm or distress to any person. This essentially amounts to pre-crime. There won't even be a need to warn people. The court can issue an interim order without notice. Once the order, which can be indefinite in duration, is there, breaching it carries an unlimited fine or 2 years in prison. Why don't people see this? Why don't people see what's coming? Why don't people recognise what's happening in this country? And why don't people say anything? Because they just don't care, do they? So many people don't care because they think it'll never happen to them. This spectacularly authoritarian measure is supposedly aimed at street hoodlums. That's a good word again, hoodlums. But it is not restricted in any meaningful way. It is a racing certainty that the courts will not apply any limits to its scope. This bill is a particular threat to free speech. Already you have to worry that the police might turn up at your door over a controversial social media post. At least at present, the poster has a reasonable chance of defending themselves. While our hate speech laws are vaguely worded and authoritarian, at least the onus is on the authorities to investigate and prosecute. This changes dramatically under the Crime and Policing Bill. If it passes, all the police would have to do is to persuade a county court judge that people are distressed by the post in question. Then the poster can be compelled, on pain of prosecution, to delete the offending content, not to refer to the subject concerned online again, and even stay off social media altogether. They might even be forced to provide an official with the passwords to all of their internet-enabled devices. This law could be used to attack practically anyone who criticizes or makes life difficult for their elected officials. it would be straightforward for, say, a local council to obtain such a respect order, telling a pesky critic to pipe down indefinitely or face possible imprisonment. I know it's surreal. I'm sat here and I can't believe I'm reading it. I can't believe I'm reading it. I just can't believe I'm reading it. The crime and policing bill could even be abused by central government to silence dissent. What if in a year or so we saw another pandemic or more riots similar to those that erupted after the Southport attack? During COVID-19, the authorities did their best to repress criticisms of lockdown on social media, and we saw in the wake of Southport how quick the authorities were, not only to quell violence, but also to silence speech online. On these occasions, the crackdown was only partly successful. Even when it came to the speech-related arrests made over Southport riots, a number of prosecutions stalled, and a good many convictions looked fairly doubtful. But this new bill would tip the balance in the state's favour. The bar will be significantly lowered. People will be shut up on the basis that somebody, somewhere, might be alarmed or distressed by something online. Absolutely surreal. The county court judges who will hear these cases may well come to see it as their job to bolster government's efforts to preserve social harmony rather than worry too much about free speech. Of course, this wouldn't happen. The Home Office will purr. There's supposedly no threat to free speech because Article 10 of the European Convention on Human Rights will protect those with something worth saying. Both of these deflections demand extreme scepticism. For starters, governments and local governments have form in pushing their powers as far as they can when they feel their interests are threatened. In any case, the ECHR has a fairly dismal record when it comes to protecting speech that is awkward, offensive, and bloody-minded. Andrew then exhorts us to speak up while we still can, and one cannot help but think that's a very serious thing indeed. And I just hope that people do, because if we don't stop this, we won't be able to speak at all. I mean, there's nothing to stop these absolute authoritarian numpties from continuing to hamper speech in this country, and to continue to try to stop people from pointing out the absolute absurdities that this government is involved in, from race through to trans. And I think it's really important that we as individuals speak, I think. And that's the most important thing, is that we've got to keep people learning and understanding exactly what this dangerous nonsense is. Because from my perspective, it's just getting worse by the day. But I'm more interested, of course, as usual, in your perspective. What do you think is going on? You tell me. You're the ones that are going to put the comments. And I'm waiting to hear about this, because this is an absolute doozy. What the hell are the Labour government bloody playing at? And who in their right mind would own up to the fact they voted for them? You tell me, all right? Oh, dear. Just make it stop. Bye-bye, everybody.